With the posted time having arrived and a quorum of members present, I will call the Public Health and Safety Committee for Monday, February 21st, 2022 to order. We do have one member with us tonight on WebEx, so anything we vote for, we'll take roll call votes so we get an accurate record of the vote. The first item on our agenda tonight is the minutes of our previous meeting from 1/17 of 2022. Did anybody have anything they want to be updated or adjusted on the minutes?
I had a small spelling error.
Sure. Go ahead, Pat.
On the Bowmans, the landlords that were the subject to that rent abatement hearing. Mm-hmm. Their last name is spelled with a W at the top of the minutes, and then down where they're actually talking about the conversation, the W is gone, so we should probably just make sure it's spelled both the same way.
Just make sure it matches the paperwork on the form. Okay, yeah. We will certainly make that adjustment. Any other revisions? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes with Pat's change. Motion by Herbst. Is there a second?
Aye.
Second by Peckham. Further discussion? We'll go ahead and vote on the minutes. Herbst? Peckham?
Aye.
McElhaney? Aye. Wadinsky?
Aye.
I'll vote aye as well, and the minutes are approved. Item number 2 is to consider approval or denial of various license applications. We don't have any denials for this evening. We've got a couple events in the packet, you'll notice. Any specific things that you want to talk about on that report? If not, I'll take a motion to accept or deny licenses as recommended by staff.
I'd so move.
Okay, we have a motion from Peckham. Is there a second? Second by Wadinsky. Further discussion or comment? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Wadinsky?
Aye.
McElhaney? Aye. Peckham?
Aye.
Herbst? Aye. I'll vote aye as well, and then those licenses are through. Item number 3 is discussion and possible action on amending section 8.08.160 rabies control. This comes to us from our animal chapter, and it looks like we're trying to clean things up a little bit and amend some of the language that says shall to say may, based on a review between our humane officer and Tara. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Tara, to this synopsis? I see you had a summary in the packet.
Not really, unless somebody has questions about anything.
If not, is there a motion to approve the changes? Motion by Herbst. Is there a second? Second by Wadinsky. Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. Herbst? Aye. Wadinsky?
Aye.
McElhaney? Peckham?
Aye.
I'll vote aye as well, and that item is approved. Item number 4 is the operations report from the fire department from January of 2022. Anything notable on the report that you'd like to talk about, Chief?
Probably the Grand Avenue fire at the 16-unit apartment complex we had in early January. It displaced 15 out of that unit. It's partially reoccupied. The fire structure and the one above or below are not been able to reoccupy. I don't know the long-term prognosis for that building, whether they're going to be able to repair it or not. It's probably the biggest event that we've had in the month of January. Of course, the monthly report continues to be revised. I'm looking for some feedback from the Police and Fire Commission and this committee as far as if this report is meeting your needs as far as seeing what's going on internally in the department. If you'd like to see any changes, additions, revisions, things like that, we have the entire staff working on it, the division chiefs and deputy chief and myself, along with the data sets that we were already providing you, but we break them out a little more. So if you have any feedback for me like that on that report, I'd definitely take it.
I would say just for myself, I love the report, but if it takes copious amounts of time to put together, I can live with it being less complete, less.
I think we're hitting our stride.
Okay.
And I think the division chiefs are really enjoying seeing that what's going on in their individual divisions and talking about, as I was speaking with Alder Wadinsky beforehand, kind of some of the stuff that isn't normally highlighted in the report. It's not all about incidents, about what we're doing with our time in between those and training and other things like that, and telling the story of the department, especially historically. I think that these documents 20, 30 years from now will be very valuable to this the department and the community's history. So I'm not seeing it where it's an enormous amount of work. I don't have anybody complaining yet, so I think that we're in good shape there. I'm probably the last one, I know I'm the last one each month to complete my portion of it. So I think that they're ahead of the game when it comes to it.
It
so.
is really good, and I love the fact that we have it posted in the online packet so that the community can read it also.
Yes.
Because I think it gives them a different look inside the department, so they understand what you guys do. Dawn, and, oh, Pat's got his hand up virtually. Let's take Pat and then Dawn. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Pat.
I was just wondering about that apartment fire, how it happened that a fire started on a balcony.
Yeah, our arson investigators, I don't know if they've given a cause to that. They're strongly led to a singular outlet out on the patio out there. So it's what I would call a garden apartment. So two stories. They've got a small wood balcony out of the first apartment or the upstairs apartment with a patio door. There's an outlet out there, and it's definitely that's our cause and origin point. There was some things that were plugged into that, i.e. some Christmas lights and some other things. I think that's what they were looking at. I do not know if they've determined an exact cause on that. I'm probably speaking out of turn just bringing that up. Those guys really don't like it unless they have a definitive, they can say it's this, pointing it to that. But that's how that started out there, is we believe that there was an ignition source on that patio.
They're electrical.
Electrical is what, we're suspecting. It's probably going to go undetermined. And then the
Better than charcoal grill.
yes, and the construction of that building led to the quick spread inwards. So there's no OSB sheeting on the exterior of that. So it's vinyl siding, and then it is a foam insulation, and they use a steel strapping to keep the building from racking. And when I mean racking, it meaning seeing the building tip or slip. And then insulation and drywall. So with that, there's no wood barrier on the exterior. We have code, of course, in these types of buildings to prevent fire from spread from one apartment to the next, but not from the exterior interior, and that's what we had there.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting, yeah.
Dawn, you had a question yet for the chief?
No, I just wanted to comment that I thought the report was excellent. I very much enjoyed reading everything, all the different categories.
Oh, yep.
Good. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything else on it then.
Okay. If no one else has any questions or comments on the report, we'll place the fire chief's report on file. That brings us to, thank you. That brings us to the Tavern Activities Report for the month of January. Anything notable on the report that you wanted to chat with us about, Chief?
The only thing that I'll mention is the incident at Jalapenos, where we issued a citation for underage alcohol and for open after hours. We had, the origin of that call was, we had been called there about 5 o'clock in the morning because there was a 16 or 17-year-old who was trying to get into a car so that he could stay warm, saying he couldn't go home because he had been drinking and mom and dad would be mad. So when we responded there, we talked to that underage person who had been drinking, and then that led us downstairs to Jalapenos, where there were still people there who were quickly scurrying as we arrived. So we issued some citations, and as you'll see, there were 75 demerit points issued by Lieutenant Felder. As a result of the incident, Lieutenant Felder did have a follow-up meeting with the owner of the bar, Jalapenos. The owner was appropriately apologetic and said that he made an error in judgment in allowing people to stay to try to avoid the cold, even though it was several hours after closing. But he said all the right things, and we'll see how that moves forward. But we did have a meeting with him to lay down the expectations and make sure that they understood what those expectations were.
Okay. I think that's huge. I mean, that's the kind of interaction that we want to see. Anybody else have anything on the report that you'd like to talk with the chief about? Go ahead, Jim.
Regarding Cop Shop Pub, I noticed in the last minutes that it said the police department had a meeting with the owner and several bartenders discussing a variety of things, including how to identify underage, how to handle tensions that may exist, when to call the police, and sober server, and educational stuff for the bar. And now I see on this current report, we have 3 calls from employees of that establishment asking for police assistance. So I think it was great that our department had that meeting, helped educate those employees so they know when to call us at the right time so we can assist them when they need it. So good job for our police department.
Yeah, thank you for that, and I noticed that too, and one of the calls was, we responded there for a verbal argument, which we hadn't been called there often before. Prior to the conversation with the establishment, we were responding there for fights in progress, as opposed to the, if they call us early when there's a verbal argument, we can help head that off, so hopefully they got the picture, and their staff has got it figured out when to call us and how to handle those types of situations. Thank you for the acknowledgement.
Anybody else have anything on the report? If not, we'll place the police department's report on file as well. Item number 6 is communications. I have none. Does anybody have any communication? If not, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Peckham, second by Herbst. Members in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed?
Hey,
Nobody has
sorry,
ever.
Jim.
No one's
Beat you to
ever
it.
opposed. Thanks, everyone.